Oh, hey, Jimmy. Are you the boogeyman? Nope. Lizzie? Nope. Scar? I'm the boogeyman! Nope. What? Who could it be? Oh, hi guys. Do you happen to be the boogeyman? Nope. But hey, we have this cool music though. Wow. You know what? This would be a perfect moment for the boogeyman to appear and kill us all. I mean, talk about perfect timing. Oh no! Grian is gone! Stop. So yeah, Last Life. The series with no rules, other than these rules. Quite a lot actually, that is filled with a bunch of friends, casually causing chaos, wars, and anarchy. Did someone say anarchy in the previous season, which is third life? Resources are limited, land area is limited, and each player is given 3 lives that are also limited. And when a player turns red, they become hostile and start killing other people. But this season, instead of just 3 lives, players were given at the start a random set of lives, ranging from 6 to 2 lives each, where they can use as bargaining tools for leverage or alliances in the server. The goal of every player is basically build their relationships and backstab later, and also try not to die and be the last player standing. It also has a new twist called a boogeyman, which is really like the imposter from Among Us. Instead of pretending to do your tasks and stab you at the back, the boogeyman will pretend to be your friend and stab you at the back. They randomly pick every session, and their goal is to kill one player to get cured, or else they will lose all their lives if they happen to fail in their mission. Last Life is basically a mix of the chaotic wholesome nature of Hermitcraft, the factions and alliances of Empire's SMP, and Among Us. And each player in the server have settled upon their alliances and factions, because to win the game of Last Life, PvP is not the only way to win, but also having friendships and connections with other people can secure your victory. Anyway, speaking of factions and alliances, let's take a look on each of the members' groups and their factions with other people. Starting with the most amount of members and with their very amazing accent. The Southlanders. Aha! So, the Southerners are all located at the south with their very amazing towers. Each member has their own tower, and there's Mumbo, who decided to build the bunker. Their group was founded by Grian, who first settled in his Southland tower. But then, he got lonely, and we all know what happens when Grian becomes lonely. He basically went on a journey to spawn, to find other players to team up with. And he also happened to walk into this very British conversation, filled with British men, plus Impulse with their very British accents. Aha! Grian, also British himself, went on to steal Mumbo from Scar with fish and green chips. Sure did. He also happened to get along with the other British men in the group, and they went on together in a journey to settle in the Southlands. This faction is by far the numerous out of all the factions in Last Life. They have amazing Redstoners with Mumbo and Impulse, PvPers like Martin and the Dream Slayer himself, and then there's Timmy. It's Jimmy! They're also in possession of a very important resource, sugarcane, which can be used for crafting TNT in the server. Currently, there are only 3 groups who are in possession of this valuable resource, and seeing it as a means of crafting TNT, sand is also very limited, since there are not a lot of patches of sand in the server, other than in rivers, which we can definitely see a lot of players battling it out for control over the rivers. Next up, we have the rivals of the South, the North, which unlike the United South, they're pretty much divided with their own groups and bases. At the very north, there's Joel and Scar, settling in the Magical Mountain. At first, Scar initially settled on top of the mountain, with his very fancy dirt house. Then, he traveled around the server, taking Grian's horse, scamming other people along the way, and then he stumbled upon a wild bean, a smallish bean, and schemed together into taking the only enchanting table in the server. At first, Scar was like, it would be a shame if someone took it. I mean, it's literally right there. Yoink! And so, Joel and Scar yoinked the only enchanting table and hid it beneath the magical mountain. This will be a great leverage, especially against their enemies from the south, and this could potentially cause more conflict between them. Currently, only Scar, Joel, and Rendog have access to enchanting. And speaking of Rendog, his base is located on top of this hill with his tower, overlooking the vicinity beneath the magical mountain. He has a special pact with Scar, which he will supply food in exchange for unlimited use of the enchanting table. And finally, from the north, we have Pearl and Smager, who are living deep in the forest just beneath Ren's tower. Like the Southerners, they also have access to sugarcane, and the only group who has a working skeleton farm, which will be very useful, especially in supplying arrows for an upcoming war. At first, Smager and Pearl just stumbled by each other, and then some mining later, they somehow fully trusted each other, and signed their complete alliance, with Pearl giving Smager one of her lives. Our next faction, which is not really a faction, but more of a region in the server, the West. So, one of the first people who settled in the West was Cleo, who discovered this strategic mountain location with an overhang cliff. She began to construct her castle that will overlook the dark oak forest down below. In terms of resources, she is also in possession of sugarcane, along with Grian and Pearl's group. She may be alone in her castle, but she has neighbors which she recently started making friends with. Beneath Cleo's mountain, Lizzie lives in the dark oak forest, nesting inside her fairy circle fort, which by the way, is very flammable. Welp, but despite being flammable, she's protected by the three most dangerous things known to mankind: dragon, ogre, and taxes. Anyway, outside of the forest and hill, we have Bigby, who settles in his humble bunker. He is currently in collaboration with Cleo, and they have somewhat of an alliance with Big B, eventually moving out from his bunker and settle in Cleo's castle. And lastly, from the west, we have the betting buddies, residing in the nearby hill from Big B's bunker. So, Tango, together with his betting buddy Skizzleman, who built their tower while Tango is away. He came up with an idea of a gambling game called You Bet Your Life. The goal of the game is to gamble in one of the players in Last Life and bet on the first person who will turn red. And if the player happened to win, he or she would get all of the lives gathered by Tango. To enter the game, participants were required to gamble up one of their lives in exchange for the reward awaiting them. Currently, only 3 people committed to the gamble, since not a lot of people are willing to give up their own lives. And finally, in the outskirts, we have the duo themselves, Etho and Bdubs. So, just like Pearl and Smager, they just so happened to stumble by each other and casually went on a mining session. While mining, Etho pretended to be the boogeyman around Bdubs, who happens to be the real boogeyman. And when they eventually went up to the surface, they met Grian at spawn. And we all know what happened after that. Currently, the duo are settled in a hill, building a sole business near the northern lands.